Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
So we're now live, but I need to now quickly change everyone's names because I forgot to do that before we started. So I'm gonna change the names now while we're live and while I'm talking to everyone, and then see, no one's gonna know that I'm doing this. And then I'm gonna do the intro, and then we'll start talking. So just give me a moment. Shiver. There's Shiver. Okay. There we go. That's all better now. I think that they're seeing what they should be seeing. So at first I was afraid. I was Nakarified. Kept thinking, how could I go on with Shiver at my side? But then Ghost T came along and he told me how to be strong, and I moved on. And let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. Glorious. Ghost, thank you for joining us.
I think every morning my morning should start with you singing me an introduction to the day.
I'd do it.
Why don't we make that a Patreon reward at a certain level? Once a year, you will do a recorded song for anyone.
I'd do it. I don't know why
brilliant.
Any patrons would sign up for that, but I'd do it. You know what? Maybe a thing of patron should be like, I'll write them an intro for them. I'm sure everyone would love that, right?
Oh yeah. Heck, I would pledge for that.
Oh, my giddy aunt.
You're right there.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Relay Station. We're going to take a quick break from what we've been hosting all day, which is Paul from the Astropub. He's doing a 24-hour charity stram thing, and he's currently playing some Sea of Thieves, which is an excellent game. But we're going to take a break from him and bring you our ugly, hideous mugs and Ghost, who looks very dapper in his suit of
death.
Yes. And then then you can go back to watching someone with skill, class, and pirates.
All right then.
Okay.
So I have a question for
Flint.
everyone.
Thank you,
Flint.
Thank you, Flint. That was
In
amazing.
case anyone is wondering, moments before doing this podcast, Eris was actually playing hockey, so just breathing is incredibly painful. So doing the wave is kind of like the Chinese 1,000 puncture death by needle. Please subscribe this week especially.
Oh, thanks, sure. Actually, I did something to my leg, and it's really uncomfortable right now. So, just sitting here.
Don't wave with your fucking leg.
Just sitting here is kind of painful, and then I throw the wave in, and it's like my shoulder does the thing, and yeah.
Show me what hurts again. Do it again.
Oh, sure. Yeah, 1 second.
That's the thing that hurts.
Complete with grimace.
Yeah. And like, just so much pain. Okay, let's talk some Star Citizen. So, what happened this week? Actually, no, we're gonna go straight over to the. We're gonna go straight to this because there's just a lot to show. So we're gonna go straight into showing stuff, and I'm being invaded. So give me a moment here. Hello, invader. Just standing there.
He knows all the lines.
You could like say hi.
Hi. It is a
Oh,
hen.
it's Andy.
I think that's Buzz.
I'm okay.
Exactly.
Excellent.
There's no need to phone the authorities for another week. I'm still alive.
Oh.
So we're going to talk about the stuff on the screen here?
Yeah, this is just the slideshow of the few images that that you put together for me this week, but there's the some of the armors. The the armors look good. They look better than they did at first. The Phoenix that's on there looks like a wall. Not really sure what to say about the Phoenix. It's an ugly ship.
It's pretty early. I don't think it comes out until like 3.3. So, yeah.
So I'm looking at it. I'm thinking it's looking good. It's coming along. I can't wait to see it finish. As long as it's not too brightly coloured. That was the one problem with the original Phoenix, was just so clinically white.
I do want to point out this image here with the transport beacon detected thing. That is their concept image. As far as I can tell, it's a concept image for how the service beacons will work. Actually, considering they're supposed to come in 3.1, that might not be a concept image.
That's
but regardless,
a perfect image to accidentally stop this on. How do I... Hotkeys. I'm trying to make it so that I can do this manually.
Hello, flying toaster.
That's supposed to be behind you.
I know. I've lost my flying toaster. I'm very sad. Very sad.
I don't know how
the saddest. It's quite sad.
I'm so good at this, guys. I'm amazing. Where's images? There's so many
you're certainly amazing.
Okay, now that they've stopped like rotating around, if no one else is going to be excited about it, that truck stop looks amazing.
I want to get to the truck stop because that's what I want to talk about, and I want to just sit and look at the truck stop. I have to stop doing an image slideshow. It makes things harder. But yeah.
Also, huge props to CIG for releasing an 8K image of the truck stop.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, whenever I pull images off their site, it's always interesting because you like open it up and you're like, all right, does it say source? Okay, good, it says source. Okay. Oh shit, it's like 1600 by something. That doesn't help me any. And then you get ones you're like, oh, this is a big one. Oh, good.
This is huge. Yeah.
I can put this wherever the hell I want.
All right, I'm gonna link that in the Twitch chat. There we go.
I don't know how to do this. Just
Tilu says for the few weeks he's been away, he hasn't seen the production hair drop.
I'm trying. I don't know what the keys to do it manually are, but you did get a nice, good look at the brave little toaster. It was awesome. Yeah, let's just start looking at some of the GIFs. Screw the images. I'll do the images better next time. I'm sorry. Actually, no. I can just wait till it hits it and then stop it. So
I'm actually guessing that the big things coming off the back. Sorry, very briefly. I'm just guessing the big things coming off the back of the truck stop are probably radiators, rather than solar panels. They don't.
It'll need to radiate heat.
Yes. Radiating heat into space is very difficult.
Why? It's so cold.
Because there's no matter.
You matter.
Well, thank you very much.
Sorry, this is going to be one of those shows.
Because there's basically no matter, it's just all vacuum. It's very difficult to actually like transmit the heat to anything. So you need like gigantic radiators. Anyway, that was boring. Let's move along to things that aren't boring.
No matter.
I don't even know what to talk about this week, honestly. I mean, there's some ships.
That's sexy Mustang. That's a sexy Mustang. That
they
Mustang
did announce
is sexy.
That definitely the Mustang is super sexy.
I mean,
the Hurricane's pretty sexy too.
The Hurricane looks like the Hurricane. It
Yep.
looks kind of like a grown-up Gladiator.
Gladiator that ate all its Weetabix.
Yeah, doesn't it? Like it's got the seat at the front, and then there's this turret in the middle, and
I actually don't think it looks like a grown-up Gladiator because it's a very simple ship. It's like I am a gun. That's what I am. A really big gun.
The fact its shape is basically I'm going to point in direction that I fire.
Yep, pretty much. It's a very simple ship.
It kind of reminds me of a two-dimensional Avenger.
I was so unhappy that I couldn't get this GIF to perfectly loop, but they didn't let it play long enough. Assholes.
Then there's the Mustang rework. We've got a lot of looks at that.
Yeah, there was almost like 2 minutes of stuff. Just showing the rework. It looks much better than the original.
Oh yeah, leaps and bounds. I'm still not a huge fan of the goofy like winglet things on it, but that looks infinitely better than the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole cockpit area and everything is.
I like that
much
they're
improved.
also like not making the way cargo works on there a mystery. It's like it's right there. See, it's attached to the bottom.
I don't really like how the big shoulder pads on it are kind of pointing, like they're not pointing straight, they're pointing like outwards. You can only see it if you like from here. They're angled outwards.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Slightly bothers me.
you should start a concern thread.
I should, but the wings fold up now.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Makes it much more usable in like a carrier type of situation. Like you could have a whole fleet of these little tiny buggers, on a decent sized carrier.
But would you want them? Ugh.
Well, I mean, if you have like 20 deltas on an Idris, they got a fair amount of firepower. It'd probably make someone's life
They're
difficult.
like little bees.
No, they're comparable to a Gladius pure firepower wise. I mean, survivability is questionable because you need if you're going to use a Delta in a proper military situation, you need to be a bloody good pilot because its survivability is your skill more than its equipment, whereas the Gladius is a bit more forgiving.
It's the Star Citizen version of a TIE fighter.
No doubt. The Gladius is much more durable. The Delta has got a fair amount of firepower. It just can't take a hit.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Mustang is a starter ship, whereas the Gladius is a military ship.
Yeah.
Is anyone else slightly disappointed that Star Citizen's focus on realism does kind of mean we won't get any ships like a TIE fighter or things that just shouldn't be able to fly, but they look cool anyway?
I still think they should.
Have you seen the constellation in atmosphere?
I was going to say the running joke with the Mustang when it first came out was the fact that those engines being so high up, the ship would just nosedive as soon as you lit them off. So I'm pretty sure that they already do the whole this probably isn't designed correctly and isn't going to actually work, but whatever, it looks cool.
I'm still one of the things I always loved about Star Trek was when they introduced the Borg cube, because it doesn't matter if you're in space all the time what shape your ship is. It can be any shape you want. But I would love it if Star Citizen had a ship like that was just some ridiculous shape. It make no sense.
A massive vacuum cleaner in space.
A flying toaster. So speaking of things with silly shapes, the Tumbril driving looks kind of good.
Yeah, it's coming along pretty good. Yeah, doesn't feel like that long ago that we saw it for the first time.
I love me my little dune buggy.
The suspension's looking nice. It's good.
Those wheels are gigantic.
Oh yeah.
And they open up like little tiger claws.
I know, it's so cool.
Grip any surface. It's pretty awesome.
I liked how they did the little. I'm sure it's going to come up here in a second. The broken apart from the top down
No, I didn't get
stuff.
that. I didn't get that gift.
Okay.
It's okay. Aramis did.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's really cool how you can see how the suspension kind of goes all together and stuff. Yeah, that one.
Got gifts from Haramis and from Nakara this week, so it's a combination of the two. All that matters is we got gifts. So
I was
the
torn on
truck.
whether or not to get that one, but that one's really cool. It shows
still-
all the parts.
yeah,
I still think it kind of looks like a Lego Technic car.
And I am okay with that.
I'm still slightly concerned by what am I gonna use it for?
Whatever
Driving
you want.
on a
Dicking
planet.
around.
But the planets are so huge. When am I ever going to set down my question
When you
mark
need to go through a Tim Hortons drive-through.
Yeah, you can't fly through.
Yeah, it's a drive-through.
You never go through a Tim Hortons drive-through. Tim Hortons drive-throughs, there's a radius around a Tim Hortons that espouses the worst possible driving imaginable. There's like this. There's honestly,
They're all hopped up on caffeine.
yeah. There's a radius around Tim Hortons that you have to be extra careful because no one can drive around a Tim Hortons.
So it's like an organic food store where no one knows how turn signals work and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, like
and-
Flint says, when you can't fly to a location due to a weather event.
I know, but
Whenever
how
you have to-
often is that going to happen?
All the frickin' time.
That just
They'll be like, you can't land on planets because it's shitty weather.
But you have to land, right? You just can't land where you want to land. But then,
Walk there?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
I could see them doing that more in like Squadron 42, where it's like, we can't approach, we have to land here because of anti-aircraft. Oh God, defense.
Thank you, Miles KG21.
See, if you'd read the message, it says you don't have to wave.
I always have to wave.
Okay.
It's a personal choice, a dumb one, but like I can see them restricting a lot of stuff in Squadron, but I'm not sure how they're going to restrict it as much in the PU because, you know, driving into a mission, all the skies look clear, and then you get within, 100 kilometers of it, and all of a sudden, bam, storm appears. You have to land immediately and drive there.
I could see them having it over, if you're in orbit, you couldn't land straight there because of the weather event. You'd have to land either in a, wait for a window to appear or land just outside it and then drive in.
I think we're all forgetting the key important part. I know it's kind of a weird concept, but it just looks really fun.
Yep.
It does. It does.
Like, I would absolutely just land a ship and get out and bum around in that thing for an hour.
I will do that when there are things on the planet that could happen, like when there are random events that you could find and you could get, I don't know, attacked by
Sandworm
sand
racing.
people or something, you know?
I wouldn't
Keep
care.
it-
I'd just drive around.
Keep in mind, that was why they landed so far away in the Homestead demo.
Yeah, that one was a little weird in how they did it because you didn't have any kind of a visual or it seemed like
Yeah.
a game mechanic type thing. It didn't seem
I
like
think
this.
I think
is
it
a
was
thing.
we didn't have time to put the storm in.
Yeah. So one of the other major things from this week was all of the work that we saw on like character stuff. So uniforms, which are up there now. We'll look at some of the legacy armors and stuff that were. Whoa, what is going? Oh, what just? Carrie, you guys talk for a second. This is doing. It won't
It's a
let
good
me.
series of events. What's this thing doing suddenly? Bang.
Okay, there we go. Got it, I think. I hate this program sometimes.
So only sometimes?
Only sometimes.
Change the channel.
You're the worst. The armor's looking okay. I don't know. Looks like armor.
Oh, now it's armor, yes. Those two clothing things were from the Port All-Star collection, quote unquote. So they're going to be coming to stores when they're done, soon-ish. The armor's looking good. A lot of the stuff is legacy armor, so it's sort of meant to look, well, it's older. They're just updating it to get it in the game. But my favorite in this whole set was the shipjacker armor. Even though all they had was the undersuit.
They showed a whole bunch of like people and how they were rigged. Bunch of prisoners, bunch of characters from Squadron, and the artist's pass of like the people who got their heads scanned, which is, I mean, it's kind of cool seeing how they pull all that together. Right? But
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
It's not as cool
especially-
as watching the tumble over a planet, though.
That's part of the problem. It's like, but not to us, but there will be someone out there who looks at this and is like, this is the coolest friggin' thing ever.
One of the things I really liked was seeing the differences between the raw scans and the artist scan, like the artist's finished product.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, especially for that one. Seeing like the scars on his face and stuff.
That they added in, yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, let's get to probably the only really important thing of the week. Customizer.
Character customizer. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks like something that we've needed for a long, long time, and we know that. But it'll be nice to finally be able to like pick really bad hairstyles.
Yeah.
I want to see how he puts a helmet on with a mohawk.
That's probably one of the things that was holding them up. They're like, we got to make sure that doesn't clip through, or else it'll look ridiculous. Oh man! But one of the things that I'm kind of really impressed about this with is that this is like their base implementation of the character customizer, and it's better than some games. Final product.
Yeah. It's it looks pretty good. It remains to be seen what else they're gonna add. I've got like 3 GIFs of them changing hair colors, and I'm
Like morphing.
It also kind of seems like this guy probably has some kidney failure, with his yellow eyes, but
That would be liver failure.
liver failure, whatever. Details, same thing.
Science.
Unfortunately, if someone on here works in medicine.
They also showed off the new tool that they've given to, I guess, animators, kind of to let them test out armor right away or test out clothing right away, which is kind of cool.
Specifically, they can test it in Maya instead of having to wait for it to render in the game.
Yeah.
It saves them a shit ton of time. Because they have to create these animations. The example they gave, which I thought was a really, really good example, was like them leaning on a table. And if the animation is intended to be them leaning on the table while wearing heavy armor, if they're wearing no armor at all, their elbow needs to be like this far off the table.
Yeah.
So having to like guess and then wait until it renders in the engine to see if it worked the way you wanted it to, and I could save them a lot of time.
So
What's next?
I don't know. I think that
We're
was
just-
that
We're
was
just
it.
going.
Well, so we've basically covered. They also showed off a little bit of the new Vanduul rig. It has a kind of different jawline. It doesn't have quite so much overbite now. It looks like.
So they were also meant, like, the context of this was that they have and yeah, it has less overbite, the context of this too is they were talking about how they have a new facial rig that allows them to import the performances of the actors who did the Vanduul characters.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool.
But like through a lot of these GIFs, and there's a lot of stuff shown, but I don't know. I guess I'm not really feeling any of the stuff that they were showing this week as like, ooh, we can talk about this for 3 hours. But what do you guys think? Did anything stand out for you from this week, Ghost?
Not particularly. I mean, this was definitely seemed like it was kind of a slow week when it comes to news. Got some pretty pictures, got some cool gifts and stuff like that, but yeah, there wasn't anything, earth-shattering, because I think they are trying to get 3.1 fired up for Evocati in the relatively near future, so everything's kind of in a state of limbo in that regard.
Brivals makes one good point that this was in the image slideshow, but didn't stay up enough. So I'm gonna put this up briefly over top of our faces, which is the like the procedural topographic map that they're working on for the procedural.
I thought that was
plan.
amazing.
It looks really good.
Dead. talking of Evos, they've sent out a few more emails to people, so check your email to see if you've now an Evo. Or an
Yeah.
avocado, whichever you want to say.
They just mentioned this week they doubled the number of Evocati.
I think that, like, I can't see any, like, any replication, any
Pattern.
There's no
Yeah.
obvious issues from this.
I don't
shot.
I don't see patterns. Like, I can't.
Nope.
And I love it.
Humans are very good at pattern recognition. So if you can't spot it,
That's
And they've been talking about this for a while now, but yeah, the redoing of a lot of the planetary tech when it comes to the texturing and stuff like that is something they've been working on for a while, and it just wasn't going to make it for 3.1. And I don't even know what is this scheduled for 3.2 or
I'll check
3.1, I
the
can't
roadmap.
remember.
It's a ways out, I think.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
some of the
gorgeous.
stuff they talked about and some of the stuff they explained in relation to this was pretty impressive. So I'll be curious to see how it actually looks in comparison to the current state.
Ba, ba, ba.
Ooh, is there another one? Oh, that looks so good.
Bless you.
Thank you.
It
It's always handy when you can just take off your mic.
yeah.
All right.
So that pretty much covers around the verse this week and the hard news this week. So now's the time where we try and pivot to talking about like something related to Star Citizen and like discussing something, right? Something that like we can chat about. And I'm you know, killing time trying to think of something to bring up.
Actually, I just wanted to mention something here. I'm actually not sure if that stuff that they were showing is even on the schedule. So it might be sooner than I think. Because the three sort of relevant things that they have on the schedule are environmental blending shader, which is in 3.3. And actually something I didn't even notice got added, I think, is in 3.4 they have procedural city rendering performance. And then also in 3.4 is improving space scenery aesthetics. But I don't think what we saw there was any of those, so I think it's not in the schedule yet.
There's also going to be a networking
Oh.
ATV next week, I guess.
My bad.
Oh, you found it?
My bad. Yes, I found it. It's actually in 3.1, and it is just called Planet Tech Improvements.
Oh, okay. So we'll see.
So
that
it's
soon.
coming very soon. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
That'll be fantastic.
Yep. Yeah.
Do we think we're going to get 60 FPS or just more stable 30 FPS after 3.1?
I'd be happy with 6 FPS. Anyway, I don't know how much they can really push the performance before they get network bind culling in. I mean, they said that they took one of the parts of network bind culling and have it in 3.1, and it was most of the performance enhancement, and I hope that's right. But I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath until I'm actually running it and it runs smooth.
Yeah. The more I try, like, pretty much every week, and I'm actually really surprised. I've had like almost no drop frames today, which is the first time in months that this has happened, and it's looking great. So with any luck, I can actually stream a game again. But I've also had this problem where I keep trying to be like, yes, I'm going to play Star Citizen today, and then it's just like, well, no.
No?
And it's kind of the same problem I'm having with another game that I was really excited for, and I've decided that I'm going to wait on, which was Deep Rock Galactic, which is, you know, a bunch of dwarves, a bunch of space dwarves mining for gold.
I dig it.
But
it's on my wish list, but it's in early access, so
it's early access, and it's going to be early access for a year or two. And I've found that I've done this a few times on a few different games, that they come out in early access and I play the hell out of them. I've done it with Prison Architect and Dead Cells and a few others that I can't list off the top of my head. And then I forget about them and they come out and I never play them again. And I never play them once they've launched. And there's a part of me that worries about that with Star Citizen as well, being like, I'm going to, you know, force myself to play a hell of a lot in alpha and then just I don't
You get
know.
burned out.
Yeah, I don't want to get burned out.
As I say, the key word there is forcing yourself. If you're forcing yourself to play anything, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I always have to force
it's a
myself
game.
to play something.
Well, then you have a problem.
I have crippling indecision. So I will look at the list of 900 games that I own and just stare at the list and look at the list and run down it and run down it and run down it. And at some point I have to force myself to just be, no, I'm going to play this one today. And once I get into it, I enjoy it. But I'm
You know what
always
that's known as now?
forcing myself. What?
That's Netflix syndrome.
Doesn't happen to me with Netflix, just Steam.
Really?
Just Steam.
Happens to me all the time with Netflix. I'll sit there for like 20 minutes flicking through all the stuff on Netflix, and I'll be like, I don't want to watch anything.
I'm not worried. I've still got like
That's how you
four-
start rewatching a show you've already watched 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
still have
that's
like
usually how
14
it goes.
seasons of Supernatural
Isn't
to go
that what you
through,
do on
so-
Netflix anyway?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what should I watch? Ah, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch Futurama.
And then very occasionally they come out with a really cool Netflix original that you like blow through in a day. And then you're like, okay, back to the regularly scheduled program.
Yep.
Uh,
I will admit I am really looking forward to Sea of Thieves.
But you weren't you really down on that game after you played it in
I was,
beta?
and I'm still down on it. I'm also looking forward to it.
Sound down on it.
I question its longevity and I question whether there's stuff to do in it, but it's beautiful and the gameplay was fun. So
Okay.
there's a part of me that's like, it doesn't matter if there's something to go for, right? I mean,
I will wait until it's out, and I will see what the reaction is, and
Yeah.
then I'll decide from there. But I've been interested in the game since it first was advertised. The other one that I'm really interested in, sort of in the pirate vein, is Skull and Bones.
yes,
It's coming out this year, supposedly.
I also like that. I liked what they did in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So
That's Skull and Bones. Is that they're taking that part of Black Flag and making it its own game?
yep,
And I'm like, yes, okay, sure. Because that, honestly, I think that Assassin's Creed is the only one I've played. Like, I played it to completion. I finished that game completely, and I did everything I could possibly do in it because it was amazing.
yep.
And then all the other ones, I'm just sort of, eh. Yeah.
New X game. That could be quite good.
Which one is that?
They're going X. I think they're calling it X Foundations. The simplest way to put it is it's going to be offline Star Citizen.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
It's if you haven't played any of the X games, check them out. Definitely, if you're into Star Citizen, it's not quite Star Citizen, but it is it'll probably scratch that same itch whilst making you hungry for more.
That's
Make some new
interesting.
metaphors
Like,
there.
it looks like they've done some. I'd always heard like the X games were kind of meh, but I'm looking
They're-
now in Steam and some of them look like they're getting better scores recently. So I don't know.
They're it's a bit more slow burning than Star Citizen's going to be. I'd say it's in between sort of probably in between Eve and Elite sort of slow burning sort of thing. But unlike, you're not going to be waiting days to do something in X, but you could quite easily spend a day in X just building your own space station.
Interesting. There's a You might want to check this out, David. There's an X Rebirth VR edition.
I haven't used
But it
VR
is-
much lately, to be honest.
But it is $44.
Ugh, no thanks.
Well, then that's okay. You just send your headset to me, and then that'll be fine.
No.
I don't think that will happen, but
No.
yeah.
I am keeping mine. So this is what happens when we reach the point where there's not much in the week to talk about. So I will say, throw us some questions, because if we run out of questions, then I sing. But before then, man, I don't even know.
Do you want me to do entertainment stuff?
I've got this problem right now with Star Citizen where we're early in 2018.
Yep.
And it's going to be a long road to 2019.
It's going to be the same amount of time as it was between 2016 and 2017.
Yes, but in those years, we thought something was coming out. This year,
No, who thought that? Who really fucking thought that?
everyone hoped, okay?
There's a line in the sand
had
between
hope.
optimism and idiocy. And if you thought something was coming out in 2016, you're on the wrong side of that fucking line.
Sorry,
buddy.
not 2016, 2017.
Yeah, you're still on the well. You were on the wrong side of the line. We haven't got the game yet.
We
Where's
haven't.
my game?
We haven't, but
Where's my game? Honestly though, I still don't think it's off the table. It is possible that we could get it at the very end of this year. It's incredibly unlikely, but I think that's when the release window is first open. Is the end of this year.
My only issue with that is seeing that female characters are in 3.4, which is scheduled for the end of December. That makes me go, there's no way in hell.
what do
You
you think?
don't
Ghost?
really need the female characters fully for Squadron because
You
they've
have-
already
Well,
got
you do.
You have to
they've
be able
already
to
got
be
their
a female
NPCs in
character.
there. Yeah, but you only need a few selection of them.
I don't know. I think they don't want to get. I would be very surprised if they don't give themselves any time at all for QA on female characters. Like I would say it's at least 6 months after that, once all the core tech is in.
Well, they've got their own QA, right? So they might, for female characters, just use their own QA rather than us QA.
Plans are great until you actually like put something out.
What do you think, Ghost?
I was gonna say I'm not saying anything until at least sometime at the end of June when we have 3.2 out and it's
I want
been
my
on
roadmap.
time and everything, because I want to see how they do with keeping the schedule for Star Citizen itself before we do anything with Squadron.
Wait,
Mr. David,
yeah.
I asked you a question in Discord.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Question. Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Like a half hour?
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
Then there's also the other problem of Star Citizen versus Squadron 42, right? So Shiver, I'm kind of with you. The optimist in me wants to say, yes, Squadron 42 could launch end of the year this year. I've been optimistic 3 years in a row. In me makes me want to say, no, it's next year, 2019. But for Star Citizen, we got a while to wait. And one of the reasons I'm having some trouble picking up the game and playing it now is because there's so long of a wait between where we are now and where it's supposed to be and where they want it to be. I find it hard to play it when it's so far away from what they want it. I still think what they've got is great, but
It would
I
be-
think we can confirm the final release is going to be within the next 50 years.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm saying potentially within 50 years.
What kind of inside information do you have?
I mean, I'd say that if we don't have a final launch within the next, say, 3 years of
5.
Star Citizen, 3 to 5 of Star Citizen itself,
Wait, you just went from 3 to 5.
Well,
That's
Seven.
3/5.
7 to be fair.
we
Three-
SpaceX might actually get to be a part of Mars.
I think SpaceX will get to Mars before Star Citizen gets launched.
I kind of hope it does, and then the people on Mars will be like, "Oh fuck, it's come out the day we landed, and now we can't play."
Hey, what's the internet connection to Mars?
Well, I mean, Musk will just launch another set of constellation satellites with one every X distance from here to Mars. And
I'm gonna be really pissed off if Mars has better internet than I fucking do.
it will.
It's almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
So basically, the way that it's going to work is actually really interesting. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but I actually read a bit about this, about how they're going to do, or how they think they'll do internet on Mars. So most of the internet you get day to day, actually, you aren't going a long way to get it. Internet, like various parts of the internet, are staged locally in big data centers. And that like happens all around the world, and that's to limit the amount of time it takes you to retrieve things. That's basically what they're going to do on Mars, is like once a day or multiple times a day, they'll basically cache the internet locally on Mars, and then they can browse locally on Mars quickly. They won't be able to play like, video games with people on Earth, because it's just, the lag is enormous. I think it's like 90 minutes or something.
Well, that's all.
But-
That's better than
you'll
some
be able to, like,
matches I've played with
retake
people in
things.
Australia.
And like you'll be able to do like forums and stuff, but like live communications will be kind of out.
Does anyone else
Um,
find that kind of crazy? Of like, I mean, 90 minutes
like
is
the
a
old
lot,
TV
but
boards.
it's only a 90-minute lag.
Let's
That-
go in light speed. So, actually, how long is the lag? It might not even be that long. Just a moment.
God, science, why? I also like that someone has sat down and thought out how to give people on Mars internet, because that is an important question.
This came from Elon Musk, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is a big surprise. So it looks like it's actually only about 25 minutes. Oh, sorry, it's about only about 25 minutes maximum, and minimum time is around 4 minutes. So that's not bad. Man, with 4 minutes, you could have like a reasonably real-time conversation with someone,
That's not bad.
like by text. But yeah, we're like way off topic, but I
Yes.
did think that was kind of interesting.
We are off topic. I'm going to check the question list and see. Okay, we haven't had many more, but Rivals, I don't know what the article you're talking about is. If you want to make mention of that in the chat before we get to the question. Yeah.
There was an article.
Yeah, apparently there was an article. I'm wondering what our thoughts on the DualShockers article is, but I don't know what the article is, so.
I saw
I've-
the article, didn't actually read the article, so I don't remember what it was about.
Dual Shockers. I'm assuming this is a Star Citizen article.
I'd assume so, yeah. I don't know. What
It
Ghost?
got 14 upvotes, so I'm guessing it wasn't great.
That doesn't mean anything on Reddit. It could have been the most amazing information ever, but people just didn't see it, so it didn't get upvoted.
Yeah.
Or it didn't have enough swearing in it, so it didn't get upvoted.
Just it looks like the general consensus was there wasn't really anything new in it. But let's see what the question was. What was the question?
Let
Dun,
me
dun, dun.
see if I can permit.
What do you mean there wasn't anything new in it? There's pretty pictures in that.
Always the most important part.
I
Hey, Mr. Squarepack.
mean, if I look at all of the images that we got this week, the only one that to me was really like, yes, was the truck stop.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that was a truck stop. It's not like, this giant space station for, this is a truck stop. There are going to be dozens, hundreds, thousands of these across the verse.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks so good. And there will be smaller stations, and there will be bigger ones too, right? Like there will be, yeah. Wait, Ghost, are you not
Fix it.
like?
I'm not that important. Fix it.
How do I make you important?
Oh, good lord, don't do that.
Yeah, the truck stop is huge. Someone in chat
There you
earlier
go.
said that they were hoping the hangar's
It
going
won't
to
let me
be
do it for
an
30
instant.
seconds.
Well, you got 60 seconds, so you have to time it very carefully.
All right, I got this. I got this.
Oh, man.
Am I yelling at Nightbot? Yeah, stupid Nightbot.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know.
It's a slow week.
Rivals, if you're out there, what did you think of the DualShockers article?
I'd imagine it's more of the same. Hey, look, they're working on stuff. Stuff's coming, but I don't know. I haven't read it.
Most of this just looks like it was just a summary of what's going on right now
Which
in Star Citizen.
I will say that if that's what it is, I am very okay with like objective summaries of Star Citizen, because that's honestly better than, like it's better than Star Citizen is used to. Really, I mean, the number of shitty articles that come out with Star Citizen in mind, and like, it's 5 years. Where's the game?
This, full disclosure on this, and they did actually disclose it. Because someone was asking why was this in DualShockers, because they mostly do like PlayStation news.
Yeah.
It's because the backer is the writer is a backer of Star Citizen.
Oh, so it's
The only thing I can think of, the name's DualShockers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So out of 5, I'd rate the article maybe 2, maybe 3.
That's only one shocker, though.
I was just gonna say it's only one.
You have to do
2,
it both.
maybe
then.
3.
worst.
But
Hang on, was Diablo 3 in development for 11 years?
I think I remember 8, but it was partially canceled at one point though, so that it was really long time. That development didn't go very well, and they still ended up with a pretty great game out of it. It just wasn't quite to the normal Blizzard standard.
It wasn't quite as good as 2.
No, but it was still really good. I mean, it's really funny because it's like one of Blizzard's like worst games, and it's generally considered a very
good game. It's just
I
not.
was gonna say, it was a hot mess at launch, but yeah.
Oh,
it
launch
was a total mess at launch. Oh,
yeah.
just wow.
Okay, you know what? Let's move on to some questions.
So it was 11 years. But that also included them closing Blizzard North and moving the entire team to their main studio and partially canceling it. So it was a mess.
I mean, let's be fair. Objectively, when things are looked back on in the future, I'd say that the first probably 2 to 3 years of Star Citizen's development were a mess.
Team building.
Yeah.
They were building the studio.
They
were
yes.
hardly working on the game.
But they
At
count
that
as a
point
mess.
Well, it was what they were doing hadn't been done on the scale they've been doing before, so they were just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, but they were building ships without the ideas of, what ships should do, and they were building there was really no organization at the beginning of Star Citizen's development. The first at least 2 years of Star Citizen's development are a hot mess. Because again, even when they started, they didn't even start with the objective of let's make a multiplayer MMO. They started with let's make a single player game, and then we idiots gave them all of the money that we had, and they were like, "Oh, wait, what do we do now?" I don't know.
I think that actually contributed a lot to the chaos of the first couple of years. It was that the crowdfunding was good at the start, and then it got better, and then it exploded.
Yeah.
And I think that their plan probably changed maybe once a month for the first 2 years. They really didn't get their feet under them until the beginning of 2014, which is about 15 or 16 months into development.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of the things mentioned in the DualShocker interview, they're now at 475 employees.
I still think possibly one of
Wow.
when I read the news, it was possibly one of the things that made me happiest. And I think one of the best decisions that they made with respects to the project was making Aaron the head of global development. And
Yeah.
that to me was kind of a turnaround when Aaron sat down and was like, okay, no, here's some organization. Let's start running this like a game development company, like I've run for the past however many years. And that to me was a turnaround. But
Then if anyone else in the world can say no to Chris, it's going to be Aaron.
I think he's the only person in the world, actually. Ghost, what do you think?
I was typing.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So I don't know what you said.
That's okay. I was asking your vague idea of whether or not the first 2 years of Star Citizen's development were a shit show.
Yeah, pretty much. But the thing I was starting to say was the fact that someone mentioned the release date of 2014, which I was going to bring up a couple of times. The thing is, like, if you look at the original announcement video, they probably could have released a Squadron 42 in 2014.
Yep.
The problem with that is the fact that it would have already been forgotten, like, years ago now. Like, it would have been cool and it would have been a fun, you know, space genre back type thing. It would have been nothing to write home about.
And it wouldn't have had all the things that are going to make Star Citizen special. It wouldn't have been able to tie into the MMO.
It would have been like Wing Commander 5.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
It would have been an upgraded visually version of Wing Commander. And
I think people would remember Wing Commander 5. You know, I think that gives it more
hardcore
grandeur.
people
Wing Commander
will, but
Okay.
Wing Commander's got good memories.
I'm going to start the questions. There's a few from last week still.
ooh.
They've brought back Shipshape. Name another former ATV/RTV feature you wish CIG would bring back from the Clipmaster.
Sorry,
Ghost.
carry on. I need 1 minute.
I would love it's Ghost. Sorry. Go Ghost.
Hazy thoughts.
Hazy thoughts?
Oh, nice.
That's a
Good.
one.
Good one. Wow.
Nakara?
I would love to see a one-time nostalgia episode of Wingman's Hangar. Just bring back Eric Peterson for one episode.
Do miss Wingman. He was awesome.
He was awesome. Yeah.
I wouldn't even care if it was just an
Eris.
episode of him talking about his game.
Totally.
Yeah. Eris, what would you bring back?
RTV.
What
Oh, the
news for you.
original RTV?
RTV with just them hanging out chatting.
The original RTV.
The original RTV, the way RTV was good. The RTV that had more information in it than ATV. Because back then,
At the time, yep.
RTV was the better source for information because they'd be sitting there chatting and then Matt Sherman would walk in and he'd sit there and answer questions from chat for 20 minutes. And they'd be like, what about this? Oh no, we're doing this. What about this? Oh no, here's how we're doing it. And it was so open and free form. And it was just answering questions. Bang, 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 bang. There was no moderation of the questions. There was no hedging. There was no... And I mean, the fault on it is entirely ours. Because no, it's entirely our fault that they stopped doing it. Because we'd take anything that they said as the gospel when they were just saying the way that they were working on things that present day, right? Like, oh, today I'm working on this for items 2.0. And then that doesn't happen. And then everyone gets pissed off because you said, I mean, honestly, because of us, because they can now go back and find exactly on Relay, exactly when they made this promise and it didn't come true. And now everyone gets mad. But like, I miss RTV.
Yeah.
I miss Ben.
What was the one where they showed off the bugs and they had Melissa
glitch?
Estrada and the whole
Which
crew
Glitch.
in there?
Yes, which glitch
Right,
was
they
really
need to
good.
bring that back, and the fluffs. I miss the fuck ups and bloopers.
Yeah.
I really like them.
Yep.
So, there's a question in chat here. So apparently, the next ATV, so next week, is going to be the long-awaited netcode special with Clive Johnson.
Yeah.
So
Is that RTV,
some people
did you say? Sorry.
ATV, but
Is that going
usually
to be in front of the live audience as well?
Yes.
That one.
yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Well, I mean that's what's on Reddit right now. You never know; it could change.
Mm.
Oh, actually, it looks like it was announced in RTV this week.
So does this mean they're going to preface the episode? This week's episode of ATV was filmed before a live studio audience.
I'd like that.
Wow, there's actually some really interesting stuff for the next Calling All Devs. They have questions about caves and tunnels and about the mobile app. I'm like, I
Hashtag
would
mobile
like
first.
to see.
Okay, let's get to a few more of these questions. Idris Carrier asks, would you like to buy the fuel truck from the Vulcan concept art?
I think Shiver wants to blow it up.
Yeah.
I think it would be great if you could buy the fuel truck and then basically play Euro Truck Sim in Star Citizen, just driving all the way around a planet. 14
It's
hour.
going to be roads.
14-hour long haul. Actually, 14 hours. The clip
Get
master.
lost, it could be.
The Clipmaster asks, name your favorite fictional space or starship and tell us why it's your favorite. Shiver?
I think it's got to be the Enterprise E because it's the sexiest Enterprise they ever did, and I love Star Trek ships.
Nakara?
Mine is also a Star Trek ship, but it is not an Enterprise, which is weird. My
Defiant.
favorite ship is a Defiant. Because of the nature of the ship. I loved it because it was a ship that the Federation made out of desperation, that it didn't work properly when they originally built it, and that it was just this tiny ship that had so much ridiculous firepower that it could just rip to shreds most larger ships. And I thought it was just an incredible ship.
little
It's
ship.
so much fun to watch it fight in the show.
It didn't do very well against
I'm
the Borg.
torn because I do like the traditional answer of the Millennium Falcon just because it's that fast, it's got firepower, it's got, living space, that kind of thing. And then at the same time, I also am kind of a sucker now for the Rossi just because it's got so many goddamn guns on it. And it has the same kind of idea where it's fast-ish, but it's also just got a lot of firepower and like crew quarters and stuff like that.
TARDIS and the Heart of Gold, because screw your guns, screw your combat, screw everything else. I want random, ridiculous happiness, and that's what both of those give. The Clipmaster also asks, if breakfast is the most important meal of the day, what did you have for breakfast today? Beer.
So, are we all answering this or just you?
Just me. I was going to move on to the next one because we've actually got a number of questions now.
Actually, I wanted to just mention something. There is a mistake on the. I was just pulling from Reddit, but there is a mistake on Reddit. Warn everyone, there's a mistake on Reddit.
There's what?
The source that they actually cited for the Clive Johnson netcode special says that it's RTV, not ATV, next week. Which makes a little more sense because I'm not sure if they want to do the live ATV, which they're doing next week, as a netcode special.
Yeah. We'll see what it is.
Yep.
Noskavian asks, At this stage of development, what do you think the priorities of the careers will be? Trading, mining, salvage, etc. Mining.
What do you think the priorities will be? So I'm assuming
I'm not sure
the development priorities.
Mining.
Well, trading is first, and then mining, and then salvage, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah. Flint Dragon asks, what questions would you like asked at the subscribers ATV recording /tour next week? Oh,
I'm just waiting for the laugh track.
What food did we get for $350 if we won?
I'm telling you,
Okay.
corn dogs.
When are you coming to Canada?
No, get your mind out of the gutter.
No, I'd like to ask. I'd like to see questions asked that aren't stuff we already have answers to.
Will
like-
Goss 2 actually look, or will Cassell on Goss actually look like it does in this concept art? Oh,
I don't know.
that is
I
my
mean,
favorite. If everyone wants to know, that's my favorite location in the verse, just from the concept art at least.
I've still got a lot of questions in the question box that never got updated, never got answered, and I still want answered. Like, what's going to be sold for cash post-launch?
They won't know that till.
I know, but there's so many. Like, I don't know what. It's so open-ended of what kind of question. Well, how's the game going to work? I mean, we've got procedural planets and we've got some procedural economy stuff, but is the procedural economy stuff actually going to fill an entire planet with stuff of interest? Not to mention hundreds and hundreds of planets, not to mention hundreds and hundreds and thousands of millions of billions of kilometers of empty space? Where is the stuff to do? And how are you going to make sure that there are things for the people that are playing the game to actually do in the game? And
I actually think they have been answering that question, though. To be entirely fair to... Yeah? That's what the Pioneer was about. That was an enormous piece of that puzzle, was the Pioneer. At least in my opinion. Like, being able to fill planets with player structures.
It helps.
And then have, then you need all the mining people to mine so you can build. You need explorers to explore the planets and survey them so that you know what the hell's there.
I just, once you've got a base built, like, I still worry that, okay.
You have wars on the surface of the planet with other
but why?
organizations.
One of the things that's so mind-boggling.
You keep zombies away at night.
Keep in
make
mind,
a redstone electric grid.
Planets are huge. Go find. I've got a particular 10-kilometer area of Earth in mind. Go find it. I'm not going to give you any hints.
Canada, isn't it? It's in
no,
Canada,
it's actually not in Canada. Go find the specific place I'm thinking of.
That's not really. It's like saying, well, because there's a lot of room on the Earth that people don't fight each other. There is.
I know they do.
People still fight each other.
I know, but we've also only got Earth. And we have Earth for how many billions of people? Whereas in Star Citizen, we're going to be, what, 1 million people playing the game? Maybe more?
Yeah, we're only 10% of the population, though.
Yeah, but...
That's actually something that they could really do to help is to, like, that's always been the way that they're going to fill the universe, is that the AI is supposed to do the same things the players are doing. If they actually can execute on that bit, the rest will be fine.
Well, say you have made a settlement, just for yourself on a planet. It's in UEE space. It's quiet. It's stable. Why wouldn't other NPCs appear and slowly you start making a new town like the old West in the old days, 200
Back
years
in the old
ago.
days, in the old West, where they actually had gun control and they stopped you from walking into a town with a gun because they were smart. Wait, sorry, I think I got off
The
topic.
accent there.
Man, this got political really fast.
It's something I've been thinking about all week. I'm sorry.
Though, would it not? One morning you go out. I mean, okay, if you're a passive player, obviously not me. But one morning you go outside, you survey your land, and it's like, oh, I've got new neighbors. Go and introduce myself and say hello. And then slowly the town starts building around you. That would be quite cool. But then also, if you wanted to, and if you were me, you could go and burn it down systematically.
Yeah, I think that whole back end part that they have envisioned, where you are a small part of a giant living universe, if they can execute on that, it'll work. The game will work the way that it's supposed to. If they don't, they're going to start running into problems with content. But honestly, a lot of the barriers to getting that to work are to get the game to run well. And that's sort of what they're doing right now. Because you can't have like dozens of NPC ships flying all over the place doing shit if it crashes your system.
Ghost, we've been talking for a while. What do you think?
I'm just wondering if we're just going to ignore the fact that you're eating grapes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have much in the way of thoughts on it. I'm curious to see how it all plays out. I'm not going to make a prediction one way or another as far as, you know, working, not working, all that stuff. But yeah, I think that,
Yeah.
I don't have any real brilliant ideas on that one.
No one really does, I don't think. Cream asks, is anything good left in the 3.1 patch?
Performance.
Hopefully.
New ships.
So there's 4 new ships. Most importantly, there's some really cool ships in this one. The Terrapin and the Reclaimer are going to be in.
See, it's funny because, thank
you, Commander Hellfire.
Thank you. As soon as you said, is anything good? I mean, the Reclaimer, keep in mind, the Reclaimer is possibly one of the best ships in Star Citizen, period. It changed the nature of the game when it was announced. It's just, I can't wait for this ship.
It's one of my favorite concept images for any ship ever.
Yes, like the original one.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah. The ship is just
amazing.
Can you get a cooler ship? Who actually did the concept art for it? Who did the design for it? Because whoever did just... I
actually don't know that one.
I love the Reclaimer, okay? I think I dislocated one of my leg bones.
That's something I never knew.
What?
And don't dislocate. You need to go to the hospital.
No, I don't. Hospitals are overrated.
Not if you dislocated a leg bone. I just found out something very interesting. Apparently, the concept art for the Reclaimer was originally for the Crytek.
What?
And they changed it.
What?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I never knew that.
What are your thoughts on the Crytek Ghost?
I was going to say, I need
Sorry,
a
the
big
Reclaimer.
giant
What are your
freaking claw in my Crytek, my exploration ship with a giant claw on it.
What are your thoughts on the Reclaimer?
I think the claw might have been added after they changed it. Anyway, go ahead.
Either way, that's a really weird looking exploration ship, but okay. No, the Reclaimer is very interesting, and I'll be curious to see how it comes into the game. And you know, there's absolutely nothing to do with it at the moment, but fly a giant fucking ship around. But yeah, yeah, basically, except bigger and bulkier. But I think it'll be good to get those in, because that one, the Razor kind of already, it is what it is. It's going to race. The Cyclone, is what it is. It's just going to drive around and at some point, be able to put cargo in it, at least for the base model. But the Reclaimer and the Terrapin are ones that I'm glad that they're getting in early. So hopefully they're, staying with 3.1, because none of the gameplay mechanics are behind that. So getting those in, getting them tuned in to make sure that there's no giant bugs with them. And then I think both of those are 3.2 for the mechanics behind them, scanning and salvage and such.
I think so.
That's 3.3, I forget. Then when the mechanics are in, you already have a ship that people have become accustomed to and familiar with to use for those new mechanics.
one of the things that I'm really excited for the Reclaimer with is the Reclaimer is going to be the biggest ship that we have, right?
For now.
For now, I mean, it's
for now, for a while. I think
For
I'm
a
trying to think
while.
what the next one.
and it's kind of like the Starfarer. I mean, the Starfarer was the largest ship we had for a long, long time, actually. But
Well, it still is.
It still is, and it's been. I don't even remember when it launched. It was like over
6.
yeah,
Can't remember
like
that.
2 years ago. A
It'd
year
be
and a
like
half
a year
ago.
and some change ago.
Yeah.
This Starfarer has been around for a long time because
Long
they needed
time.
it for Squadron.
Yep.
Yep.
But I'm just like thinking back to the excitement people got walking up to the landing pad and looking at the Starfarer for the first time, and then getting into it and exploring the star and getting lost in a ship. And the idea that you're sitting here in a game getting lost in a ship in the game is insane. And the Reclaimer is significantly larger than the Starfarer. And I am so excited to do that myself, because the Reclaimer hits. Yeah, I'm gonna pop in and walk around my Reclaimer. I don't give a damn. But I'm excited to try and stream that, and also to see other people and just to see what people think about this giant ship.
One condition:
What?
you have to hail them and say, "I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time."
That was really good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That was really good. Wow.
Because of the claw, isn't it?
Well,
It
yeah.
is.
Of course.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Can I touch on a few of the other things in 3.1?
Yeah, quickly, go.
So there's a bunch more weapons coming in. There's a whole 4 new whole lines of weapons. So that's the Gallants and Tactical Systems line, a new line of Omnisky weapons. Sorry, and then the last 2 are actually single guns, which is the Distortion Scattergun and the Gemini R97 shotgun for FPS. But probably most importantly, we have planetary tech improvements, which we were talking about earlier. And I mean polish, but there's also a bunch of things with gameplay. The service beacons are coming in. They were moved up. Oh, part of service beacons were moved up from 3.2 to 3.1. And then there are character customizers coming in, and a bunch of improvements to helmets. So that'll be cool. I'm still looking at 3.2 though, and that patch, like, you get all of the service beacon stuff, you get all the mining stuff, all of the salvage stuff,
3.2.
repair, buying and selling fuel
It's-
transfer, wear and tear on weapons and
It's
items.
kind of sounding like 3.2 is going to be what we hoped 3.0 would be.
Well,
And I
don't forget,
I don't like that.
you don't know what's going to be delayed from 3.2 to 3.3.
I know, and I don't want to think that again, because part of the thought in 3.0 was, oh, we're going to have so much stuff, and then we're like, there's not enough stuff. And we're like, 3.2 is going to have all of the stuff. And it's like, oh, but it's going to launch, and it's not going to have enough stuff. And we just need more stuff for our stuff, guys. The next question is about the Dual Shockers article. We kind of went over that. Thanks for the question, Brivols. Coral Reef Tank asks, how awesome are saltwater tanks, and why does equipment have to cost so much? Also, Star Citizen stuff. Well, if you are an original backer, Coral Reef tanks and saltwater tanks and Star Citizen don't cost very much because you were given one at one point in the funding cycle. So you have one if you're an original backer, and if you're not, they're probably going to cost a decent amount of quid. But you can get yourself one and put it in your Starfarer.
For reference, saltwater tanks, right? The actual name is submarine.
I thought it was a saltwater tank.
I hate you. I hate you both. You're the worst. Brivols asks, what do you think of the extra long Vulcan concept sail, and should these longer sails be standardized?
I think it's fine. They're I think the idea here is to just give people longer in case, because you have people who only get paid once a month. You have people who get paid at very specific times of the month. I think they're just, because they don't have as many concept sales this week, I think they're just like, we'll make it. I think, what is it, 3 weeks or something?
Who cares how long it's up? I would honestly be okay with them just leaving everything up all the time. Like, buy what you want. No,
It
get rid
is a bit strange.
What do you even care?
Like,
I think they should get rid of LTI for everything. No more LTI. You have to buy your insurance in game.
That would cause a riot. There would be burning of spaceships in the game.
I know.
Yeah.
Be like torches
Going the other
thrown
direction is
into
much easier.
starfarers. Can you imagine how big a starfarer would blow up if you threw a couple torches into it? Like
no,
into
but
the
I
fuel
want to
tank?
find out.
So Christians in Space, the musical, asks, to what extent...
Best username ever.
We say this every week. To what extent of customization have developers discussed in the past for the character customization to be capable of?
I need to read this question.
What
Think
if I were to
Fallout 4's
paraphrase this, what have developers said character customization will be capable of in the future?
Probably
think Fallout 4's character creator, but more morphology, like changing right down to the eye shape yourself rather than a preset. Say, even I think, oh no, say more like The Sims, I suppose, than Fallout 4.
You'll be able to do the full facial morphing and everything on
You'll be
top
able-
of everything you can do now.
You'll eventually be able to do the full Black Desert Online rather than just Warcraft and select the face that you want.
Yeah. But we don't know what the final product's going to look like. That's what they've been talking about. But we'll
Ooh.
wait and see.
This is a good question. Thanks, Triangularity. I'd kind of forgotten about this. Any news on Crytek suing CIG? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't have any specific news on Crytek suing CIG. I haven't really kept up with it. Honestly, after CIG's last response, they kind of like, you know, when you in like movies and games, when in medieval games, like you beat the guy in a sword fight and he's there groveling on the ground, and then you take your sword and you just chop off his friggin' head and watch him bleed repeatedly on the ground and laugh. That's basically what CIG's last response to Crytek did, in my opinion. This is not a legal opinion. This is a personal opinion. The only news I have is Crytek actually came out with a game recently called Hunt that...
Don't mispronounce that.
Don't. But I'm actually really interested in the game. There's a part of me that really wants to try it because it actually looks like a good game. At the same time, it's a game by Crytek, who are a bunch of whiny fucking pig bastards, and I'm not going to buy it because fuck them.
TLDR,
Also-
no new updates on anything. We're still waiting on the judge to make a decision.
I think Crytek submitted something which I can't remember the name of in legalese, but they're moving for this. They've put in for discovery and such, and they didn't actually have to yet. But yeah, we are still waiting on the judge to make a decision about whether or not CIG have to submit something for discovery and things, as far as I know.
Can I quote part of the
Go.
most recent document? Given the hodgepodge defendants must guess at in the FAC and the lack of merit to any of these fragments, defendants deduce that Crytek sues out of wounded pride resulting from defendants moved from CryEngine to Lumberyard, rapacity toward the crowdfunding amounts of by defendants to develop and produce the products, hope that filing this lawsuit will cause the defendants so much distraction and legal expense that they would rather pay Crytek, a company that has experienced a significant financial downturn in the last several years, a much-needed infusion of capital to make their lawsuit go away, and resentment over the fact that many of its employees abandoned Crytek, which could not afford to pay them.
Again, head chopped off, bleeding in the dirt.
Wow, that is not That is not polite.
It's such a good response. It's such a good. We shouldn't even have to respond to this because they're suing because they're jealous and they're a failed company. Tell them to go away. Done. I love it. I love it.
Your summary is correct. That is exactly what they're saying.
Yes. Of course, that's what they're saying. They're just saying it in really, really flowery words. That is an extra kick. It's like they chopped off the head, went around behind, and then kicked him in the balls.
In the idea of balance and impartiality, because it is legal matters, and we should at least show impartiality as a fan news outlet. Of Crytek are of course denying these allegations, which is why they are moving forward with this.
Yes, exactly.
I'm never taking you to fucking court.
I'd be a great lawyer. What are you talking about? Wait,
really
I
glad
need to
someone
move the
timestamped
background.
the stream up time so I can see. I'll get that gif of Eris's face.
Wait, sorry, Flint Dragon. You need to move your background logo up about 10 to 15%.
He wants the eclipse above your head.
Oh, let me see if I can do that. Image one. But then,
So, does anyone else think it's funny that Crytek just like threw out an early access game? It's like 100% just trying to get enough money to survive.
yes. There, is that better?
Now it looks like you're an angel. You have a halo.
I really wouldn't put it past that company. They are pretty hard up for cash.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it sucks because it actually looks like a good game. And I mean, again, props to all of the developers that are working with Crytek and all the people that have stuck with them and worked through the lacks of pay and the lack of everything. And it's not on any of the people doing the work, making the games, doing their jobs. It's on the ownership and legal team of Crytek, and I apologize to anyone that has to work for them. Let's try and.
Well, I mean, it's a shame because the Cry engine is a gorgeous engine, the things it is capable of doing. But the really good thing is most of the people that built the thing in the original place are now on the CIG train, so it isn't that bad.
Yep.
But it is a good engine. It's just a pain in the backside to use. But if you are interested in doing work in the games industry, do learn or at least have a look at CryEngine, because the things it can do, that might be the most higgledy-piggledy fucking way, but it is a good engine.
Unity is what people use to make anything because it's easy. Crytek is more powerful, and Unreal is more powerful than that. But yeah,
Unreal is the bad thing about Unreal is the fact that it is easier to use. So there are a lot more people out there that you would have to compete with to get your job, whereas CryEngine is far more niche. The fucking manual to learn it is thicker than War and Peace, so you are more in demand if you can do something in CryEngine.
That was a lot of those. Remember, we were talking about the first couple of years of Star Citizen's development being kind of a bit of a crazy
clusterfuck
mess.
Yeah.
A lot of that was they were trying to hire every single Crytek developer they could find, or CryEngine developer they could find, because there aren't many of them. And that's why they like absorbed as much of Crytek as they could, because they needed that expertise, and it's helped immensely. Like, I mean, just it's massively changed the game. Look at Procedural Planets. That would never have happened without that team at Frankfurt. So yeah.
Yep. I want to get through a couple more of these questions. We can maybe finish them all. I don't know. Brivols asks, looking back on the last approximately 6 years, do you think that CIG should have done the monthly only updates route instead of this pseudo open development?
No.
Ghost? I'm going to start with Ghost.
They should have told us what they were doing, shown us pretty pictures of what they were doing. They should not have released any part of the game. There should have been no live build of the game to waste time screwing around with trying to fix, when they could have just been blowing through the actual gameplay, like building the whole game from start to finish.
Shiver?
Yes and no. It's a better route to go. Look at the way that MechWarrior are doing it. People aren't really up in arms about how long it's taking. But then I think people are a lot more excited for Star Citizen over MechWarrior, or at the very least, there's more people excited for Star Citizen. So I don't think the project would have been as big as it might have been by now if it was just monthly updates. I think the hype would be a lot lower, and this project survives on its hype at the moment.
Eric?
I have a hard time arguing with the way they did it because it's been such a cool ride so far. And hindsight is 2020. You know what I mean? If they could go, I think if they could go back and change the way they did it, they would. But that's just the way life is. You always look back on things and go, man, I could have done that better. You know, oh well. So I personally think the way they went about it is fine. I do agree with Ghost, though, that I think that the whole hanger module thing, and I think that may have been a little... I understand what they were trying to do, but I think it was probably a little early. My question, actually, I have a question for Ghost now. When do you think they should have released the first playable product?
Still not now. Like,
really?
And like I said, this is, you know, you hit the nail on the head. Hindsight's 2020, because I think that's kind of the point of the question. Like, you know, knowing everything we know now, how would you have done it in, you know, a perfect world type thing, assuming that the money raised, you know, remained the same regardless of how you changed it up. My thought is basically just that the amount of time that they burn trying to make sure that the live build is fixed and running and all this stuff, I don't know if it's currently worth the additional input they get from the community that couldn't be gotten in a different way. But again, this is hindsight 2020 type thing. And I think that at that point you might have gotten the game earlier, but you know, maybe it wouldn't have been done yet.
And then it also brings into question, like, because it's really really complex question, because then you bring into the equation how much has the community being able to play test things changed the direction of the game. So it's really hard to know, but I think if they could look back now, they would probably do fewer updates.
I was gonna say there's a metric crap ton of stuff they would do differently just as a company, but you know, again, we're not in that boat.
And it's super hard to tell, because they back in 2012 they did not know that they were going to be able to absorb half of frickin' Crytek along the way. That had changed things immeasurably.
Or go from 6 million to like 180 million.
Yeah, I mean, even 6 million blew their minds.
I get the points that you guys are saying, but at the same time, I mean, they do have to build a team from scratch, right? And part of me worries that, and we still haven't seen, and I'm not sure if it will happen, but there is a lot of me that hopes that by the end, because of all of the stuff that they've gone through, because of all the stuff that they've had to work on now rather than at the end, all the network stuff, hopefully we'll actually get, I mean, networking is going to be probably the hardest part of getting this game working. And the extent that they're trying with the networking, that, I mean, basically no other game that is out, no other launched game that is out has tried to do as much as they're trying to do. So no, there's a part of me that thinks that maybe that we shouldn't have had some of the earlier releases. Like, we shouldn't have had the Hangar module. Arena, people loved Arena Commander though. Like, it got a lot of people really interested in the game, and it's great for cons where people try out Arena Commander and like, holy shit, this is awesome. I mean, I
think to assert that Star Citizen is taking longer to develop because they're supporting the live build is false, because if they were still building it, it would still be at the exact same stage it's at now. It's just the difference is it's in our hands rather than just QA's hands.
Well, and the
I don't think it makes any difference.
There are certain teams that they have to build up earlier. right? They have to build up a customer support team earlier than they would have had to otherwise. They have to build up a release team earlier and a network team earlier. But I think that it's good that they build these up earlier to try and sort out all the kinks that they're having, because they're a new company. They're not Blizzard. They're not, you know, an established development company. So I'm kind of glad that they're doing all these, I mean, quite frankly, very botched and not very good launches, but I'm glad that they're doing them now so that they can learn from them, build up the teams, figure out what the hell they're supposed to be doing, and hopefully down the road at some point launch an actual game.
I also feel currently like one of the only, I mean, this is kind of a little bit off topic, but I think one of their biggest barriers right now is just the game doesn't run very well.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would be playing it a lot more if it wouldn't crash on me, if there weren't big bugs, if it wasn't completely unstable at times. And honestly, I'm really getting to the point where, like, because the actual performance of the game has been getting worse on my PC, and I haven't upgraded yet, so it's getting harder and harder to play. So that doesn't help either.
So with that, we have reached 4 o'clock. There are still a couple of questions that we haven't reached, but we'll answer those next week. So that's going to be it for us for the day. Eric, is there anything coming up this week that you're excited for?
Actually, I think this is going to be a really interesting week. So the Netcode special is going to be RTV on Friday, but on Thursday they're having a live around the verse. It's going to have, it sounds like it's going to have like a QA portion to it as well. Sounds like it'll be pretty interesting thing. I think it's going to be like an update on the whole project. I think that's what they said. And regardless, it should be a little different than usual. So I'm curious to see how it goes down.
Ghost, what are you up to this week?
More than likely, I will be playing large quantities of Deep Rock Galactic.
You're liking it, eh?
Because it's a shit ton of fun.
There's a part of me that wants it, and there's a part of me that's just so damn happy with Vermintide 2 that, God, Vermintide 2 is good, man. Oh, love it.
If we're doing game, go ahead.
Sorry.
Just dead air this week. Nothing special apart from that.
You have a show?
I have a show. Fastcart has cancelled his show, by the way. I think everyone should get on Twitter and hassle him to bring back Flights of Rhythm, please. Thank you.
Fastcart, do it up. So that's it. We are, for anyone of you that supports us on Patreon at whatever the level is, we're going to have a brief break and then go straight into a patron meeting over on the Relay Discord. If you're not part of the Relay Discord, you can join us at any time. The link appears up there every once in a while, as do our Twitter and something else. No, that's Twitter, Discord, something else shows up, I think. Do we have another site that stuff shows up on? Patreon. Okay, no, it shows Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. Yeah. You can follow us there or do whatever you want, and just, you know, have a good week. Come hang out, chat if you want, ask us questions about stuff that we do and things that we like. And hey, we'll see you next week. Thanks you all for watching us. Now we are going to end, and when we end, if Twitch does what it's supposed to, it is going to start restreaming or start hosting Paul from the Astropub, because he's doing his 24-hour live stream. I don't know what he's doing right now. I'm hoping he's still playing some Sea of Thieves, because Sea of Thieves is awesome. But you should really go and watch him, because he's a lot more professional than us clowns. So yeah,
a lot more professional.
A lot more professional.
Like a lot more.
Like,
it's like not even
yeah.
close.
So go check him out. Watch whatever he's doing today. Support him in his charity thingamajig. And hey, we'll see y'all in the verse.